ancient monk high in the Tibetan mountains that has reached an altered state near nirvana, kind of a blobvana, if you will. And there are rumors that he has attained a state of 0 calorie burn.
All right, welcome to Lunch Therapy Interview Friday. I'm your host, Joel Marshall. Today we've got a great guest. We've got Bryan Ross on the show. He's a comedian, he's a teacher, he's a filmmaker, he's an actor, all of those things. Really interesting guy. Just recently did a show with him at Guys Night at the Haha Club. Here we are out on the curb with Darren Carter, the party starter. I think that looks like a show. I think that's a show. I think that's something that's going to happen. Coming to a Netflix near you. Chuckle Ups. They're cops during the day and comedians at night. Something like that, I think. Definitely. All right, so Patreons. This show is powered by Patreons. Thanks to all the Patreons out there. Howard Ronan, Mike Knox. We call them the Hummingbirds. Todd Lee, Camila Lopez, Liz Lopez, Robert Lopez, my brother-in-law, Jay Patterson, Ivy Palma, Pam Palmieri. That is a great idea for a TV show. Neil Phillip, Seth Ward, Jason Edelman. Cops during the day, comedians at night. Mary Marks. And sometimes they overlap, of course. Let's breathe now while we think of the show. That, of course, is Bryan's idea because he's the one that came up with that little graphic. I'm going to have to ask him about that. But I really enjoy that idea. This is Healing Vibrations. I'm going to turn it down a little bit here. That's the cat his name is Perseus. Let's do this thing. At the top of the show, we always breathe because it's very good for us. Sometimes I get all keyed up, and it's really good to calm the nervous system. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. One more, in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. One more, in through the nose, out through the toes. Let it go. I feel better. I don't know about y'all, but it's always good to do. It's always good to breathe. I try to breathe a couple times a day, whether I need it or not. All right, let's get into this interview. Bryan Ross, seasoned comedian. He's performed at some of the most iconic comedy venues in the country, including the Ice House in Pasadena, the House of Blues, the Laugh Factory, the Ontario Improv, and of course the world-famous Comedy Store where he actually debuted, apparently. Want to hear about that? He says that he fell on his face. I don't know. Hard to say. Bryan is not only a powerhouse on the stage, but he's a prolific actor with over 20 film credits to his name. He has collaborated with such heavyweights as Idris Elba, Ross Partridge, Matt Dillon, Adam Sandler, Linda Cardellini. Excuse me. Anyway, let's get into this show. Ross, Bryan is also a teacher. Teaches in the LASD. I don't know the initials. Teaches in the LA school system. He's also a community person that really helps out in the community. Let's do this thing. Interview Friday.
So I had a job interview where I was going to be mentoring urban youth. And I was like, perfect. I'm urban. So I go in and I'm doing the interview. I'm killing it. And then they stop me. Hiring manager's like, you know what? Thank you, but we're not going to move further with the candidacy. And I said, well, can I ask why? They said, well, you're good, but we're looking for somebody more urban, and you come off as Keith Urban. That's cold.
All right, Bryan Ross. It's great to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be seen, Joel.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. So we just did that show at the Ha Comedy Club, and you were fantastic, and it was just really fun. I don't know. We've done shows together before, but so many different shows and so many different things. I don't even remember exactly what they were. But it's really cool to have you on the show. Thanks for taking the time out to be here. I was worried because at the beginning I was like, where is he? Is he coming?
Yeah, I had to be fashionably late, us Hollywood types.
It's a good idea. Okay, I want to ask you about our television show, first of all. Chuckle Ups.
Chuckle Ups.
Is that the idea that you had too? Comedians at night?
Yeah, it was similar to, detectives by day or private dicks by day, and then public, dicks by night. So, that's how that works. That's, riling people
dicks
up in the crowd, doing some ridiculous crowd work there. Yeah. That's fun. I would love to get with Darren and be like, hey, let's just shoot a pilot. Let's see what happens.
I think we should. I think we should do that. We should write up a script. That's Darren Carter, the party starter. He's hilarious. I don't know. Does Darren act? Probably.
That's the thing. It doesn't even matter.
He's hilarious. That guy.
Yeah. He could pull it off for sure. Like he could be, our captain or something. And he's just the comedy too,
Maybe he's like not a comedian in the beginning, but he finds out we are, and then he shows up and he starts killing it. And we're like, what the hell?
We didn't even know you had this in your cap, so yeah, so many possibilities.
All right, Chuckle Ups. We're going to put that on the front burner, make that happen, make our little pilot happen, maybe do a little short film. I was just watching a short film with you on Amazon, which I'm surprised that you can put short films on Amazon, but it's called 50 Questions.
Question 50.
Question 50? Oh, Question 50.
Yes.
Oh, yes, of course. Question 50. That was an interesting movie. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Question 50 was a concept that was pulled together by a friend of mine, director, writer, Aaron Lucas. And he said, hey, I just want you to read it. Let me know what you think. Yeah. And as soon as I finished it, I said, we have to shoot this thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, because he just wrote it because it was in his head and he just needed to get it out.
Yeah.
So we pulled the money together, believe it or not. We call it our Uber film because we worked Uber to raise the funds to shoot the project.
Really?
Yes. So it's pretty much this project. It's a thriller. It's like a sci-fi thriller. I would consider it to be in that category.
Yeah.
Where this individual he applies for this position, He doesn't know what the position is. It's a government position, and he had to answer questions before he got the job, and depending on how he answered the questions would determine whether he gets the role.
Yeah.
And he gets the role, and then he finds out what the role actually entails, and now he's stuck.
Yeah.
Now
That's
he has a
now.
moral.
What was the 50th question? Do you remember?
I do know. I do
Or
know.
we not,
But that
we
was
should not give that away.
no, that's part of the whole allure of
Yeah.
the project, because it is a concept piece. So we want to turn it into a series, and that question
Oh,
will be revealed, throughout the end of the series.
I see. I see. I wondered because I was like, did I miss what the question was? But I was it was pretty shocking. It's a pretty cool movie.
Yes,
Pretty cool movie.
thank you.
How did you help produce it then?
I did. I produced it
How
along
did
with
you
my
get it
friend.
on Amazon? How do you get a movie on a short film on Amazon?
So a lot of people don't know this, but Amazon is a big supporter of short films. So you go on to Amazon Prime, you have to set you up an account as a filmmaker,
Hmm.
and then you submit the film. And it goes through this process. I think it takes about 30 to 90 days for them to review it, and you have to follow all of these, rules and regs,
Yeah.
and then they take it on. And then from there, once it's on, then you spam your friends and family in hopes that they'll purchase it
Yeah.
or rent it.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. Todd Lee says, "Hoy, I thought a show with funny Uber stories would be a good one. Taxi of the 2020s. See, we're like
Mhm.
coming up with shows all over the place here.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. I love it, Todd. Thanks.
Todd, I like it. I want to go way back to your upbringing because apparently you grew up. You were born in Watts, and then you grew up in Compton.
Yes. Yeah, so technically I was born in Compton because that's where Killer King is located.
Yeah.
Uh, so quick note. So Killer King,
Tell us about that.
That's Martin Luther King Hospital
Oh,
in
I
Compton.
see. Killer King.
And during the, 80s to 90s, there was a lot of, gang and drug warfare.
Mhm.
So what would happen is rival gang members, after they had an altercation, the closest hospital was Martin Luther King.
Mhm.
So rival gang members would go find out where their ops were, and find the room where they were being operated on, and then finish the job.
Whoa.
So yeah, so Martin Luther King
That's why they call
got
it the Killer King.
Killer King, yes. And after a while, gunshot wounds, they wouldn't even take it to Martin Luther King Hospital. They would drive it to Gardena or St. Francis, somewhere further away where the ops couldn't get to it so quickly.
Oh, wow. That must have been crazy. So
Oh, yes.
during the
Todd,
time you
my
grew up,
childhood was so posh.
you grew up in the, yeah, posh childhood. So you grew up in the 80s. There was a real crack epidemic in
Yes.
where you were. How did that affect your youth?
Yeah, it's crazy. So growing up during that time, you have to acquire a few skills to stay alive,
Yeah.
right? Knowing when to duck when they shoot, hearing car screeches, knowing what street you can't walk down by yourself or even with a group of friends. It was chaos, and thankfully my mother, her being a praying woman, and then her being really really smart, and having the idea of just keeping us, me and my brother, entertained. I grew up with an older brother, keeping us entertained by, Nintendo came into play, and she did a lot of taking us to the video store to go get videos to watch. And that's where my love for cinema came, because we spent a lot of time in the house just watching movies. Because once you stepped outside, there could
Oh.
be a potential problem.
So your mom really kept you inside. You grew up in front of the television, essentially, watching some movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Now,
cool.
of course, there were times where we did get to go outside and play, because we were part of that latchkey kid era. So,
Yeah.
my mom had to work and stuff. So go to school, and we'd have our key, go inside, help us to our own dinner and homework and things like that. And she'd come in. So there were moments where we were outside, and we did have to deal with the unfortunate um, issues of the times.
That's hard. So do you credit your mom for your path that you didn't
Oh
get
yeah.
involved in that kind of stuff that was going on when you were growing up?
Sure, 100%, 100%. And here's another thing to it too. So my mother, she used to bake cakes. God, I wish she still did that. She will make me a coffee cake on my birthday every now and then, which is supreme.
Yeah.
But a couple of times she would bake these goods for the local gang members, like in our area. So because of that, they would like look out for us. So we actually had not just guardian angels, but we had some, you know, guardian devils too. That was like, hey, we got to take care of them because that's Delsa's kids. So let's make sure they're straight.
Wow. Yeah, that's really interesting. I know
Yeah.
when I was growing up, we had some drug dealers that were on the corner, and they never sold me drugs, even though I like would try to buy things because I didn't know what it was.
Hmm.
But they wouldn't sell that stuff to me, but it's because my parents were so good to them. I
See,
think that happens. Um,
yeah, it does,
so
and it
okay,
did.
so one of your teachers somewhere along the line thought you should be a comedian. Were you like a funny kid in school or what? Like were you crack up?
Interestingly enough, because I was very shy as a kid, you know, through my elementary and middle school years.
Uh,
I would get nervous when a teacher would call on me, even though I knew the answer. Brian and I jump, and I'm like, so, you know, I was kind of weird like that.
yeah.
But I was always witty. So my family knew that I was really witty and I was very quick. I had punchlines. And that was just something that, oh, that's Brian,
Do
right?
you think that's from all the comedies that you watched, or were there comedians that you followed at that time that
You
developed
know,
that skill?
I think it was just a developed because you know my father he's funny. My uncles were funny. You know, we just had a funny household. Not just the household, but all of my extended family. Because my father comes from a family of 10 kids, and my mother a family of 6 kids. So we had a big family, and it
But
just
you
came just observing and just hearing things and just putting things together. I would say it was a talent, and it was just over time. It was just nurtured.
well, your teacher like wanted to help you like make a reel or something, or is that right?
So
A
yeah,
demo?
so interestingly enough, so I had a teacher, U.S. history teacher. I went to Hollywood High School, and it was oh wow, how do I not remember his name? It's
It's okay.
Mino.
Oh,
So with Mino Paluca,
Nina
but
Palooka.
we just called him Mr. Mino.
Yeah.
And he's actually the brother of Soleil Moonfry, who played Punky Brewster back in the day.
Really?
Yeah. So he actually had a show back when he was, I believe, like 8 or 9 years old for like a year or two. So he had his claim to fame. And by this time, ninth grade, I knew, who I was and my comedic prowess, right? So I was cracking people up in class, and he was like, "Hey, why don't you do stand up?" And I was definitely afraid of stand up. I was like, "Oh, no, I couldn't do it. I could never do what they do." He was like, "Listen," he said, "how about this? Like, why don't me and you work together, put together an audition tape? Because I know a producer over at Mad TV, and I'll get you the tape, and maybe something can go from there."
Wow.
And I was like, "No, I can't do that." And I just turned him down, and he kept pressing the issue, and I just wouldn't do it because I didn't think I had what it took to make people laugh on a consistent basis like that. And then for him to say Mad TV, and especially that first season that came out, oh my gosh, they were comedic juggernauts. So
Yeah.
no, no way. And I was still young. I was like
Was
16.
Hollywood High, is that kind of a nurturing or like a breeding ground for entertainers?
100% in my belief. From my years there, I've seen so much talent through, come out, come in for a year, leave. It was amazing. They actually have a wall of some of the stars that went to Hollywood High.
Yeah.
Alana Turner went there. John Ritter
Or
went
Richard
there.
Dreyfuss, maybe? Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah. I think so too.
So
Harry
it's
Fisher? I
talent.
don't know. I don't know. Now I'm just
Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence
coming up with
Fishburne.
really. So is that the
Yeah.
one that's right in the middle of Hollywood that's like on Highland or somewhere right
Yeah. Highland and Sunset and Highland.
Sunset and Highland? Wow. And why were you over there since you were growing up in Compton? How did you get to Hollywood High?
So that journey, so I went to school across the street from my house. And during the 80s, that's maybe late 70s to early 80s, they started the integration system with the bus system. So it was called the Magnet Program for gifted and talented children. And I took a test in the second grade and, got high marks. And my second grade teacher said, "Hey, get him out of here now. Whatever it takes, he does not belong here."
Wow.
So my mother took heed, signed me up. They were called the Choices books back then. I don't know if that even a thing anymore. But yeah, then I moved. So now I started getting bussed from third grade all the way up until 12th grade. I didn't go to school in my community.
And when you came out, you wanted to be a teacher? Or what did you
That's
want
what
to do?
I thought I wanted to do. I thought I
Yeah.
wanted to be a teacher for sure because I just saw the disparities in my neighborhood. And I was like, I could go out, get it, come back, make a difference.
Yeah.
That's what I thought I wanted. So
And what happened and what changed?
so as I started teaching,
Yeah.
I started realizing that this is something like it was I liked it,
Yeah.
but I didn't love it. So if I'm gonna spend the rest of my lives on planet Earth,
Mhm.
I should be doing something I love. And I always loved filmmaking. So
Mhm.
I always came back around to that. There was always a project, a friend like, "Hey, can you come do this? Or can you do this?" And I kept going back to it, even though I was like, no, I'm gonna ditch it, I'm gonna dodge it, I'm gonna just stay on this path. But I kept like every time I try to leave, something pulls me
Pulls you
back in.
back in.
Yeah.
Did you have any formal like film training, or how did you learn about that?
So with all of the schools that I went to, performing arts high schools,
Yeah.
that's where it started. I was a child of the theater, a thespian, if you will, right?
Yeah.
And going through that, then film became more interesting. And I'm like, I think I would like to do film. And we even had my final year at Hollywood High School, a couple of my friends convinced admin to have a film class because we didn't have film class at Hollywood High School.
Mm.
So that's when they did it the first year. And I was in like, I think two of the films. And I was like, I like this. Like, I think
Yeah.
I want to do this. So from there, I was like, okay, I want to pursue film.
That's cool. I'm going to play a clip of your stand-up.
Sure.
All right. So anyway, the worst thing that happened to me is I actually backed into a police squad car. Oh. Yeah. And my heart dropped when it happened. Because for obvious reasons, right? No insurance. So I said, how am I going to get out of this? I said, okay, let me put it together, Brian. Think. Okay, so I say, excuse me, officer. I mean, we don't have to get the police involved in this. I'm thinking you take my information, you get you an estimate. I'll take care of it for you. No problem. Policeman looked me dead in the face. He said, son, I can't.
It's hilarious. All right, Compton. Wow. Todd says, yes, do what you love. The secret is to find the union of doing what you love, what you're good at, and what you can make money at. Yes. Always in the pursuit of that. So true. Amen. Amen. So, okay. So here you are teaching school. Were you teaching physical education?
I was, yeah. So I started teaching physical education.
Yeah.
And that was something you could do that doesn't require taking the work home.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I learned that a little too late because I'm like, oh, I want to teach English, and I taught a little bit of math, algebra. But once I got into physical education and also, I love sports and I loved learning about the human body. That was a big thing for me in college. And I'm like, well, why don't I just go in that direction? Because I like that more than I like English.
Yeah.
And then I started teaching PE and it was great. So it ended there, PE.
So is
That's
that
legit.
when you started doing comedy? You were 35, I believe.
35 years old.
So it took
I
you a
started doing
while.
that.
Were
Oh, yeah.
you scared, reluctant, too
Horrified.
introverted? What happened?
I was horrified to do stand-up comedy, going up there and doing comedy because anybody can make people laugh for a minute. But 5 minutes? Come on now. That,
How about an hour?
so, yeah, right. An hour. Goodness gracious. So my 35th birthday was coming up.
Mhm.
And I said, you know what? I have to do it because I'm afraid of it.
Yeah.
I said, okay, so let's lock in, Bryan. How do we even get, and I didn't even know how to get into doing comedy.
Mhm.
So one of the first things I did, which I laugh about it to this day, is I went and started looking through the community colleges to see if there was some sort of, you know, comedy program that I could jump into that it would be a safe space.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I went to, it was West Los Angeles College had this extension class where it was like stand-up comedy. And I was like, okay, I think I'll do that. And applied for it. I had to pay for it. I think it was like $100. And it was me and I think about 7 others. And we started, it was a 6 or 7 week program. And afterwards you get to do a show. You know, the instructor sets up a show for us. And I first day went up, had to stand up in front of the class, and he was like, okay, just tell us a story, 60-minute story. So I tell this 60-second story. And when I'm done, I'm like, oh my God. And he was like, why are you in this class?
What?
I said, because I'm trying to learn stand-up. He said, learn stand-up. He said, there's nothing you really have to learn here. He said, just go do it. So I was like, okay. I mean, I finished the class.
Yeah.
And did my first show. And from that, and it was like friends and family. It was small little a graduation. That's what they called it.
Yeah.
And after that, my instructor, he said, hey, look, I'm gonna wrap you up with somebody who I think can help you. And that's when he introduced me to Vargas Mason. We know Vargas.
Vargas. We love Vargas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vargas is the man. And Vargas was like, yeah, sure. I'll put him on a show. When do you want to do it? Oh, Joe, I forgot. I forgot to tell you this. Not only did I want to do stand-up, I wanted to do it on my 35th birthday, on my birthday.
Really?
That's what I put out
you
to
had
the
like
universe.
something specific you wanted to do.
It was very specific. I said, I want to do it on my 35th birthday, on my birthday at one of the biggest comedy stores.
Yeah.
One of the biggest comedy, outlets.
This is Vargas here
Vargas.
for people that don't know Vargas. I don't know what he's doing in this picture, but that's him.
Big
Person that gives a lot of people their kind of first break. He had that show called D's Nuts that was at the was at the Comedy Store, but now it's like all over town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think he has about 4 different venues. Yes.
Yeah, he's really something.
Yes.
Prolific producer.
He's great, man.
Yeah. So you said, I want to do it at the Comedy Store. I want it to be on my birthday. You had a lot of stipulations. Do you think you made those stipulations because that would make it more impossible for it to happen? Or are you a person who visualizes things and goes, this is exactly the way I want it to be?
Yeah, no, I wanted it to be grand. Yeah. Like if I'm going to do it, it's going to be on the biggest scale possible, like where I am.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just my thought process at that point. If I'm going to do it, I'm really going to do it.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't think anything of it. Like I didn't say I want like a 40 city tour or nothing like that. I just want to just do it like this way.
Yeah.
So Vargas, we talked and of course, the heavens opened up and said, okay, we're going to give it to you, Bryan. And he said, well, actually, I have a show on May 18th, which was my birthday, and it's going to be on the main stage at the Comedy Store.
What, the main stage, not even the original room?
Right. It was the main stage.
Wow.
Yes.
Right to the main stage, just straight
right to it, right?
Way to go. Way to go.
Yes. So I said, okay, let's do it. And I was so excited. And I had my little 7 weeks worth of material. And I was like, yeah, I'm about to kill it.
Yeah.
And went on, got my family, friends, they came out, they supported me. And once he called my name, I think I was like 6th or 7th on the lineup, and went up there and seriously face planted. Like I bombed so hard.
Yeah.
Oh, it was tragic. It was like my friends, they were like, you know how, I came off the stage and they was like,
No way. Oh, that's the worst.
yeah, you would think that you would get like, hey, that was a great attempt, a good attempt. One of my friends who came out, he was like, comedy's hard. Like, that's all he
No
said.
way. No way. That was hard.
Yeah, it was hard. Comedy's
You're
hard.
like,
What he meant to say is that was
yeah,
hard
it
to
was.
watch.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry for
But
putting you
they
through
didn't
that.
lie to me, man. They didn't lie to me.
What do you think it was about your set? I mean, do you want to look at it and go like, what was it? What have you learned since then?
Oh gosh, it's the pacing, it's the delivery, it's waiting for the joke to land in a big audience, right?
Yeah.
Because when it's you and two or three people and you're this close, proximity, they can get it sooner
Yeah.
than when you do it on a stage, right? And
Mhm.
it lands on people differently and at different times.
Yeah.
So didn't know anything about that. I was just powering through the jokes and I just kept going. And there was this one particular joke that I told that my friends told me later, like, yeah, bro, you gotta know where you are in the city to be able to tell a joke like that. And I was like, and I said, oh yeah, you're right about that. So
I
yeah,
think
I had
that's
so much fun.
true. I mean, well, for one thing, in the main room at the Comedy Store, there's like a certain level of comics that come in there. So doing your first shot there is really bold and ballsy.
Yeah.
Kamala says trial by fire. If you can do that, you're meant to be a comic. I love that. It's
Thank
true.
you.
And if you can do that and then just keep going, you're meant to be a comic for sure. But yes, I think probably we have a tendency the first time we go up there to rush.
Yes.
And everybody has that tendency. And there's also oftentimes this disconnect that happens between you and the audience because you're so in your head trying to remember your thing or whatever that you just kind of recite it and you don't actually engage with the audience. That happens too. But also, like you say, going around to the different venues just in Los Angeles, there's such a difference between what people enjoy and what people don't enjoy.
Yeah.
It's really amazing to me, I think. Do you find that? Do you find that Los Angeles is varied in its audiences?
Oh yeah, 100%. And with Los Angeles being really huge, like even when I've gone to Orange County to do comedy, there's just certain jokes that will land really well there that will not land when you're in Los Angeles proper. It's like, how did that not land? Like, I don't understand this.
Sometimes even you can tell the same jokes, but kind of take a different viewpoint on it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like when I was in Michigan, sometimes I like to talk about being an actor. And in LA, everybody can relate to that.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's an actor. But in Michigan, not necessarily. But so you kind of have to make fun of being an actor. Like it's a ridiculous thing. Or like, look at me, I'm a dork.
Yes.
And then when you take that standpoint, then they're like cool with it because then they can laugh at you, Yes.
Like almost self-deprecating. Yes.
Like I went to Chicago and I said I was from LA and I instantly felt the crowd just go, oh, too bad.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they were just completely against me. And I don't know if it was the venue or what, but they were just like, we do not like you, LA person coming out here and doing comedy. I had my little camera set up. So they were just like, look at that narcissist up there. I don't know what they were thinking, but I do know that they didn't like me. Do you ever do this though? Do you ever see a comedian where they think the audience doesn't like them, but it's not true? And so they start retaliating against the audience?
Oh my God. Yes. I think we even had that happen at our show.
Yeah, I think maybe it did. Yeah.
So that happened. Is like, I don't even know how that would even come out. Like you already went in self-conscious because I never think that I guess it's projecting because I always think that the audience wants me to do a good job. That's how I always go up.
Yeah, you have to.
So I have fun with it. So even if I make a mistake and rather than say, I'm sorry versus, oh man, that didn't work out. Right. You get a better response. That didn't work out. And then they're in on the joke. Like, yeah, you're right. It didn't work out.
Yeah. Sometimes that gets the biggest laugh when people do that.
Yes.
It's just, you can't do it too much because after a while they're just kind of, then they lose. At least you're, you know what? It also shows that you're self-aware because if you say that didn't work out and it did work out, then that
Mhm.
turns the audience kind of against you because they're not in the same room. But if everybody saw it didn't work, and then you say that, then it works great. It's great. But yeah, you get
Yeah.
that, but you only get that from performing. You can't.
Yes.
Your first time up, you don't know any of that stuff,
No.
and
It's
you
you
have
have
no
no clue.
concept
Like
of what's going on with the
yeah.
audience or anything. But
Yeah.
that's what
You
I like
literally.
about Darren Carter
Mhm.
too. He seems to the party starter. He seems to really know what's going on with the audience. He seems to be kind
Yeah.
of connected with them. And I like to see that. There's some comedians out there that I really enjoy, like Shang. I don't know if you know Shang, but he
Yeah. I know Shane.
also is
Yes. Yeah.
very like involved with the audience, and his act can go any which way depending on who he's with, which I think is something you have to do. You have to learn to kind of go with the flow, plan, and then maybe take a different cue if you see it's going in a different direction. But I guess
Right.
that just takes from doing a lot. Did you ever study like joke structure or anything like that?
No. I never. Okay. Let me not say no because if I'm watching my favorite comics, that's studying joke structure.
For sure.
So, and then of course you always get what is it like the 7 points of comedy. It's like you got to do the three, right? The
Uh-huh.
joke has to be in threes. Then you have to do callbacks, right? You
Yeah.
have to do, I don't know all of them, but
Yeah.
I believe there's seven. But as long as you have all of those, or at least close to all of them in your set, then you have a good complete set.
That's interesting.
So,
There's so many different philosophies of comedy,
mhm,
probably because stand-up comedy is a relatively new phenomenon,
right, art form, yes,
art form, I guess. I mean, at
yes.
least as we know it, with the mic
Mhm.
stand and the stool and the, uh, spotlight. It's relatively new, so there's a lot of different theories about it, and there's a lot of different like 7 steps, or Jerry Corley has like 13, or there's
Mhm.
everybody's got their thing. It's really cool. I'm gonna play another clip of you. Oh, this
Oh,
is
I
about
love it.
Thomas Jefferson. This is only a
Oh
teacher
my
could do this.
goodness.
So, did you guys hear that Thomas Jefferson was tapped as being the inventor of mac and cheese? Have you heard that? Whoa! Best reaction ever. So, anyway, exactly my sentiments. I was like, all those black people on that plantation, and he's the inventor of mac and cheese. Are you kidding me? Like, I can only imagine. We cook up that old original recipe. Yeah, that smells like appropriation right there.
All right, that's fine. Thomas Jefferson, he didn't come up with mac and cheese. Are you kidding me? You
Right.
kidding me? Ridiculous. So ridiculous.
Oh my
What
gosh.
about so would you consider yourself primarily a filmmaker, primarily a comedian, or do you primarily do anything? Are you just
Uh,
trying to cover all the bases?
great question. I think I just primarily exist,
Yeah.
and whatever is the space at the moment, I go with that because I was definitely a stand-up comic Sunday night,
Yeah.
and then I had a film shoot Wednesday and Thursday. So then
Oh,
I'm a filmmaker.
yeah.
So like I'm all of right. It's not just black and white, right? It's all of the colors woven together. So whatever is happening at that time, that's what I am, and I can be any of those things at any moment.
And what do you do to prime yourself? Like, do you meditate? Do you write? Do you have any kind of set things that you do every day, or do you have practices that you do?
That's a good question. I think the most important thing that I do is just be thankful
Yeah.
for having all of my faculties,
Yeah.
and then I decide, okay, well, what is it that I'm going to do today? Like, what is that I need to accomplish today? Right. So,
Yeah.
yeah, having gratitude, and then, all right, what's the attitude after the gratitude? Or I guess the attitude is gratitude.
I like
Yes.
that. So it's kind of trusting yourself to be enough for whatever the circumstances
Yes. Or
happen.
being vulnerable, like being open, right, to
We have a
whatever's
question
coming
from
your
the
way.
chat room that says, "What was your favorite Nintendo game?"
That is a great question. Wow. My favorite Nintendo. This is NES, old school. Um, Well, I had so many. Whoa. Because Mario is too cliche. Um, there was
You got
a
him thinking, Todd.
game. Was that
He's really thinking. He got you
the freaking?
thinking.
Yeah, he got me stumped because he said favorite Nintendo game. Oh gosh. Okay. There was this game, Castlevania. I'd say Simon's Quest. So it's Castlevania 2. That was my favorite one.
Too. All right, good.
Yeah.
We got that answered. All right, let's do this thing. I'm gonna play some of your reel because I want people to see you acting, so we can book that show, get that show going. Oh yeah.
What took you so long?
Think about it, man. Epidemics are government created. Yellow fever, polio, cryptosporidium, AIDS, whooping cough are all government created and government preserved.
Damn it. Okay, see, they're gonna shut us down for sure. I sent you up there to get cyber junkies, and you bring down Edward. Now I'm on BrainNet. Thanks.
Thank you for saying that. Apology accepted.
I like this one.
Here, take these. Get your head in the game.
50-50.
You guys like prospectors or something? Or you're on the top of a house?
It's the
You just
truth.
robbed the bank.
Stop it.
Oh, you robbed a bank.
Oh, I forgot. He's Mr. Perfect.
Santa Claus movie,
Yeah.
horror movie, Santa Claus horror movie.
Yes.
The only way you're out of this
And this is that short film.
is in a
Yes.
body bag. Oh,
Should I not have said that?
this is your dad's funeral.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry. It's inappropriate.
No, yeah. It's awkward.
Come on, let's go get
Oh,
something
that's
to eat.
good.
You can't leave.
I can't leave the family or...
You can't leave this warehouse. This is the reason why we're here, Frank. No one can.
No. They killed you right at the end of your reel. The guy killed you. People are like, I can't
"No."
cast him. He's dead, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. What do you think about fame? Is that something you pursue?
No, when I first considered what I wanted out of being an actor, I really wanted to just see myself top billing, right? Me and someone else, or just me on the marquee, next to one of my idol actors one time. Like once I saw that and got that, then I know I've made it as high as I wanted to go, at that particular time. And I still believe that today. Like, for example, if I book a project with, let's say, Will Smith, right? Because he's one of my acting idols. Bryan Ross, Will Smith, like we both have 9 letters in our name, right? So that would be great, right?
Ross Smith.
Yeah, Ross Smith.
Ross comes first, too.
Yeah, there we go. It said Ross Smith in Trading Places, whatever it's gonna be. Then I'll be like, okay, but not like I'm just kind of like this upcoming star where they're only paying me 60 grand to do it, and he's still getting his 20 million. Like, I want to be right there with him. So if he's getting paid 20, I'm getting paid 20. We're both at the right there, same level as far as, I guess, public interest. It's like, okay, he's about where Will Smith is now, where he should be. Not as far as the millions, but as far as the ability of acting, the people coming to see our films, right? Or that particular film. That's where I want to be.
But that is fame, though. What you've just described is fame.
No, but I only need the one, right? Because you've had people who've had that.
Yeah.
And then they drop.
Oh,
or they have that and then they go higher.
But you want to have that and just drop?
I,
You're like, I'm out of here.
I'm not saying, I'm not
That's
saying
my
I want
time.
to drop, but that would be my mic drop if I chose.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
my mic drop.
Well,
Like,
I like that
hey,
you're very specific. I like it seems to work for you. Like you were like, I'm going to be in the original room. I mean, whether you fell on your face or not, which is still debatable, you did it. You did exactly what maybe when you envisioned it, maybe you should have envisioned it as you killing.
You know, I don't know if because there's that thing with me. It's like once you're there,
Yeah.
then we're still living in everybody's reality, right? In everybody's timeline. So me killing it for me, right,
Yeah.
is not killing it for somebody else.
Right.
So it's like I just want to be in the space to perform
that.
in the space. And whatever does happen will happen because that's just the divine of what it is, right?
Yeah.
So, I want to just enjoy because if I didn't kill or whatever, then now that deteriorates the whole getting there, right?
Yes. I also like to not rate my performances as whether I killed or bombed. I just try to just exist in the space and do the thing. It's not really my responsibility to decide whether I killed or bombed. The audience can do that for me and they can go home and talk about it or whatever it is. But just, I'd rather, I watch the tape and I see where the laughs are and I go, okay, let's try and do more of that. But I also know, and I don't like to blame audiences or anything, but I also know that some jokes are going to play in some places, just like you said. Some places jokes are going to be hilarious in some places, and other places they're going to just be like, "I don't get it."
Yeah,
that's just the way
that's
it is.
funny. That's opposite because I definitely say whether I killed or whether I bombed.
You do?
Oh yeah, 100%.
How do you know? Do you ever do your act and then get off the stage and people are like, "What happened, man?" And you thought it was great, or the vice versa?
Yeah, that's happened.
That has happened, yeah.
But like with me, like if I have a specific, because we all have our lineup of what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And let's say, because I'll do this too, we're always improving on our joke. And if I said, "Ooh, on the drive there or a week ago, I have a piece that would improve that joke," then I add it that night, and because I added that piece and it killed the joke.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh man, okay, I bombed that. I need to either stay where it was, maybe it was already perfect, or I need to reevaluate what needs to happen after that, or even just the placement. Like if now what was 4, I put it to 2, and then it just kind of killed the whole set because it really is all about the energy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that bombed. So now I need to go and restructure and retool it, or I should stay here. So I guess in that respect, it's not about the audience, right? Because I feel like it's about how I structured it.
It certainly can be. And also, I guess what I try and get away from is the idea, like you're doing it in a very analytical way. You're saying that bombed, that didn't bomb, this one hit. That's different from going, oh, I just totally bombed. Oh, that was so embarrassing. You know what I mean? That shame feeling that people get.
I do that too. So it's all of it. It's either I mega bombed or I bombed, right? Like like they say, there's levels to this.
Yeah.
Like I bombed structurally, right?
Yeah.
I bombed, just none of my jokes was working, or the audience did hate me. Not that I felt that they hated me. They did hate.
I did.
I had one situation where I went up at, oh God, what's the one at the castle? Is down the street from Haha.
Down the street. Oh, the chateau.
Exactly. So I went up at the chateau and I'm telling my jokes, and there's like this whole row of people sitting there literally having a full-on large conversation while I'm performing.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, okay. So I'm still doing my thing. And then one of the girls stops her conversation to tell me that what I'm saying is absolutely stupid and I need to get off the stage.
My God.
And I said, excuse me? She's like, what are you talking about? A t-shirt? That is a t-shirt? Really? That's what I paid for to hear you talk about a t-shirt? So at that moment, because she didn't know about me, because I grew up, going back and forth with people at the lunch tables, right?
Yeah.
We used to have our bagging sessions, our ranking sessions when
Yeah.
I was in school. So I just went full on lunchroom mode on her, and I obliterated her. And it was so good and funny that they gave me 2 additional minutes just to obliterate her, because apparently she was an issue the entire night for all the
Yeah, that's the
comics.
thing. Usually those people are a problem for everybody.
Yeah, and I didn't know that, because with
Yeah.
the chateau, you're usually outside. You don't know what's
Yeah.
going on inside. So,
Yeah. Wow. And I think the danger too is to somehow get the audience on your side, but not
Right.
all of a sudden just get mad at them. You know what I mean? Like, because when you get mad at them, it's like then you become this angry, horrible person up there, and that's just the worst.
So I really was towing the line, because it was like
Yeah.
anything I could say, right? Because like they were on my side, but I could have said one wrong thing and
Yes.
instant. Yeah.
Yes. I had somebody on the show one time that said an audience member pulled a gun on them.
Wow.
They were like somewhere in the South doing
Yes,
like
that sounds about right.
headlining. Somebody pulled a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, at least they didn't
Yeah.
pull a gun, right?
I mean, at least, but they could have been waiting for me outside the club too. So
Could have been. They could have been. Oh my God. That's so much fun though. Okay. So you have a line of clothing. Do you still have this line of clothing?
yes, Chuckle brand. Yes, I still do
Chuckle
t-shirts.
brand.
Yes, t-shirts and hoodies. And t-shirts and hoodies.
So
And
let me
beanies.
see. So Chuckle brand. Where can people
.com.
follow like when you've got shows? Because you've got a show coming up, right? Do you have a D's Nuts show coming up?
I just had that Tuesday.
Oh, you had it on Tuesday. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Where can people follow
So,
you?
I try to put everything on my site. So I have a link tree, but I do it on Rosstown Academy. It's my handle on all of the handles. Rosstown Academy.
Why is it called Rosstown Academy?
So
Because you're a teacher or a former teacher?
well, because I was a teacher and I consider myself to be a geek and a scholar in some respects.
Yeah.
And when I was in high school, I used to have this running gag where I would tell people, I'm like, if you lived in Rosstown, you'd be the man by now. But because I live in Rosstown, I am the man. So
You are
it
the
just,
man.
yeah, so it just stuck. So I just said, well, Rosstown needs to have a setup. Like it needs to have a town hall, it needs to have this and that. So it has an academy where everybody goes to school to learn how to be the man.
I like it. Kamala says she wants to start the Church of Chuckles. To buy a church, and it could be a religious nonprofit.
Yeah. I'm gonna be Pastor Ross.
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. So then you could have a whole town. This whole Ross town. Yeah, just Ross town. Exactly. And you have the church and you have the academy, and then you have I guess the church is sort of a comedy club. So their sermons could be stand-up shows, and we could do classes and laugh for an hour as prayer. Yes, because prayer,
There we go. And then
laughter is healing.
Instead of Bible study, it'll be Babel study.
Babel study. I love it. All right, so we're at the end of the show, unfortunately. And at the end of the show, I like to play a song. I'm going to play Michael J. Gonzalez, just doing the song Rise, because it's a little uplifting song. Thanks so much for being on the show, Bryan. It's
Thanks for having me.
absolute pleasure to have you on the show. All right, here we go. Dance break.
We're gonna ride till we fall. They say we got no future at all. They wanna keep us out, can't hold us down anymore. Gonna ride till we fall.
Is it hot in there?
When we hit the bottom, nothing's gonna stop us. Climb to the top with you. We could be the greatest ones who ever made it. Yeah, I could be talking you. They're trying to hate, but we won't change anything at all. Oh, we're gonna rise till we fall.
When is your music career going to start, too? 'Cause that's the one thing you're missing.
Actually,
Yeah?
I had Ice Cream Boys in the
Yes,
late
you do.
2010s. So
on
I'll
YouTube.
send you the link.
Yeah.
On YouTube. Yeah.
Of course. I love it. You're like an all-around artist. Awesome.
Hey,
Gotta
the
do it
moms,
all.
man.
We're only here for
Do it
so
all.
long. Yeah.
Right?
All right. Thanks everybody for being here. This has been Lunch Therapy Interview Friday with Bryan Ross. See you
Thank
next
you, everyone.
week.